we'll be talking about the features of the smart grid. So it has many features such as we have the consumer participation, which means that the consumer can consume the power and they also can contribute the power to the grid in terms of local generation. They can schedule and they can also monitor the consumption. Then we have real-time pricing. It is nothing but adjustment of the power balance between the supply and the demand, so that the customer can adjust the usage of electricity. The next one is the distributed generation, which can be done with the help of solar, wind, or any other resources, so that the transmission loss can be reduced. In India, the transmission loss is 20%, which is the twice of the world's average transmission loss. In India, we have 20%, but if you consider the transmission loss over the world, it is only 10%. So we have twice the transmission losses in our India. Why? Because we have the generating station at one particular location and we are transmitting over a long distance. So this smart grid will reduce the transmission loss with the help of the distributed generation. The next one is the power quality. So with the help of a smart grid, we could achieve the good quality of power in terms of harmonics, in terms of power factor, etc. Then the efficiency, the power system efficiency, it is also increasing because of the reduction in the transmission loss and also because of the improvement in the power qualities. Then we can have many storage options so that the localized power being generated, if it is not being used and if it is not in a position, if we are not in a position to feed the grid, then we can store the unused energy in the storage facilities available. We could also use plug-in electric vehicle because we can have the storage options, and with the localized energy storage and with localized smart grids, we can use our electric vehicle which can be charged at any places. And as said before, this is going to have self-healing property, which is nothing but they can predict the faults and they can also act against those faults so that the corresponding action can be done to clear that faults. So the next slide, it talks about the difference between the conventional and the smart grid. As we have seen earlier, in the conventional grid, the communication is one way, but in smart grid, it is two way. Then the generation is centralized generation in conventional, but in smart grid, it is distributed generation. The monitoring, it is manually done in conventional grid, but here it is self-monitoring. The manual restoration in your conventional grid, the restoration of the grid from the fault, it is manual, but here it is self-healing. Then there is no any customer participation in the conventional grid, but here we have the participation of the customer. And the few in the conventional grid, we have only few sensors, but in here there are many sensors with the help of which we can detect the faults that are taking place at various places, and we can act accordingly to clear those faults. So this slide, it talks about the long-lasting effects of the smart grid. Apart from the fact that the smart grids are perfectly assigned with the needs and demands of our energy requirement, they're also predicted to have certain lasting effects, long-lasting effects. The first thing is it will take care of aging equipment and it maintain the operation with the specified speed. And it will also, the second one is it will decrease the occurrence of blackouts, burnouts, and surges. In India, you could remember that on 30th and 31st of July in the year 2012, the nation suffered from severe power blackouts. This is because about 25% of, about 27% of energy generated, it was lost either in transmission or it might have been stolen. Around 27% of the population, they did not have any power for the 2 days of July 2012. This sort of blackouts can be avoided with the help of smart grid. Similarly, a burnout is nothing but the intentional or unintentional drop in voltage. The intentional voltage drop, it is being created in order to manage the loads. In order to manage the loads, we will be intentionally creating the burnouts. Okay, which is nothing but intentionally we are creating the voltage drop to manage the loads during the reduction in the emergency. Then third one is it will reduce the cost of the energy consumption and production. Then the fourth one is with the help of renewable energy system, we could get the feasible amount of power being generated. Then the next point is it will make the grid to meet the energy demand. Then the consumer will have the real-time monitoring and they have the control over their bill. And the next one is it will make a broad scale electric vehicle. We can use the electric vehicle with the help of the charging stations that are available at various places.